Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is your host, Reverend Adam. And on today's episode, I'm showing you how to make a money drawing oil. This is just one version of money drawing oil that you can do. There's hundreds of different versions out there. I'm using a very simple but also very effective version today. This version has 4 ingredients, and so this is another 4 ingredient recipe, and you could either add or take away to this basic recipe for money drawing oil. So today we have bayberry oil. This is bayberry scented oil because you can't really get a bayberry essential oil out of the bayberry plant. It doesn't produce enough oil to extract any. So this is a bayberry scented oil. I usually prefer to use only essential oils, but we are using a essential oil today after all, which is good for drawing in money and protection. This is cinnamon essential oil from the Now brand that we're using today, and we're going to use some actual herbs today. This is chamomile, and chamomile is also good for drawing in money. It's good for good luck and business and games of chance, as well as for love in certain cases. Now, of course, it would have to be mixed with love herbs in order to, emphasize on its quality for love. Now, we have also olive oil, which is going to be our carrier today. I prefer using olive oil over other carrier oils like grapeseed oil or jojoba oil. I really like using olive oil. I find it stays good a lot longer than say grapeseed oil. Now, a jojoba oil is sort of like a wax and not really an oil, so it stays for long periods of time as well, but can be also quite expensive. Olive oil in itself is expensive, but not as much. So what we're going to do is I have our bottles here in front of me today, and we're going to put a little bit of each one of these oils into our bottles, and we're going to make sure that we put enough of these oils into our bottles. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do about half a milliliter of the bayberry oil into each bottle. Alright, now I've added the bayberry oil to each one of our bottles. We've done half a milliliter of bayberry per each bottle. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit under half a milliliter to each one of the bottles of our cinnamon oil. In this case, it's cinnamon essential oil, the essential oil that's derived from the cinnamon plant. I'm going to do 5 drops in each one. Okay, now I've added 5 drops of cinnamon essential oil to each one of our bottles. Now, cinnamon essential oil is good for drawing in money, it's good for protection, and in certain cases can also be good for love as well, and helping to draw love when mixed with other herbs that are love oriented. Now, I'm going to add just a small amount of our dried chamomile herb to each bottle. You don't need a lot of the herb, just a little bit. Now, I have only a little bit left in my container. Usually, I have whole chamomile flower buds that I put into the jars. But today I'm running low, so we're just doing what we can, which is I've got little bits of chamomile still in here from the flowers. So we're just putting those into our containers. And if you feel like you didn't add enough to one of the containers or any of them, you can add just a tad bit more of your chamomile. Now, as you can tell, I have my jars just on this cloth here for safety reasons. If anything got spilt or tousled over, the cloth would pretty much catch it. Now, I'm going to open up my olive oil here. And because I only use this container of olive oil for making magical oils and stuff like that, I don't worry too much about, getting it directly on the bottle. But I try not to. And we just fill up our bottles of our money drawing oil with the olive oil. Now, olive oil represents the olive tree or plant, okay? Because olive oil is made from olives. And when the dove brought back an olive branch to Noah, Noah knew that the flood was about to be over. Olive also represents peace. Olive oil is a blessing and anointing oil. And olives can also represent prosperity and abundance, blessings as a whole, because the olive branch represented that land was going to be found once more, or reappear to Noah as far as that's concerned. So now when we have our oils all poured out into our containers here, into our bottles, and we've added our essential oils to these bottles now, what we're going to do is go ahead and bless these bottles. And when you do this blessing, you want to focus on the positive energy that you want these oils, these bottles to contain, that you want them to contain that positive energy of money drawing, that you want them to bring money in. Now, a lot of times, and when I have it, I'll put a little bit of gold leaf or gold foil, 24 karat gold foil into the bottles. If I do find that, I thought I had some around here, I couldn't find it, I will add it to the bottles, but these will be available online at the website at merlinstaff.com, and you can pick them up there. What I am doing is I'm going to bless them now with a mantra, focusing on the energy I want them to have, focusing on how they can draw money in, how they can help you master your money, how they can help you have that money stay with you, okay? I'm using the Lakshmi mantra on these. Let me do the Ganesha mantra to clear things out and help open up the passageways before I go back into Lakshmi. Ganesha is the remover of obstacles, so we're going to use his first. Om Gan Ganapati Namaha, Om Gan Ganapati Namaha, Om Gan Ganapati Namaha, Om Gan Ganapati Namaha. And then Lakshmi. Once more with the visualization that we're bringing in positive and we're bringing in money. Om Shri Mahalakshmi Swaha. 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 And if you get into it a little bit and you're just feeling and you want to keep going for a little bit, you can do that as well. But now we have money drawing oil. This is once more a basic recipe that you can go ahead and expand upon. You can even change out one of the oils if you want for a different money type drawing oil. You could add patchouli to this, which is good for love and money as well. Earthy type oils are good for that. So just play around and make sure you learn a little bit about your herbs before you play around, of course, but do your research, and don't be afraid to experiment a little bit. It's all about experimenting and finding what works for you. What works for one person may not work for another. Once more, this has been your host, Reverend Adam. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode, and namaste.